Hello, hello, happy Monday, and welcome to Making Waves with Moanna Adams. I'm your host, Moanna, a teenage girl with a lot to say and a lot more to learn. Hi guys, welcome to episode 65. This is the first solo episode I've done in over a month, which is the first time that's ever happened. I have never gone that long without a solo episode, but I'm very excited to be chatting with you today. We're doing, a low-key little solo episode in between guests. I'm really excited for you to hear our next guest. She's amazing. Today, we are talking about how you can elevate your routine with 8 habits that changed my life and that I love and I stand by and try to practice every day. These are definitely things I definitely do not do these things every day, but when I do them, I know that they are things that my highest self would do, and they just make things that much better. First, current obsession. This is a segment we do every week, and it's something you're currently loving about or in your life. And this week mine is my tea that I've been drinking. I am not a caffeine drinker. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee, but I do love tea. I don't drink tea with caffeine in it, like herbal tea is what I drink. And my favorite tea is a hot chamomile with honey and lime, which is pretty weird, and I don't think I've ever met anybody else who drinks their tea like that. But when we were in Puerto Rico last summer, I was like horribly like sore throat, the worst sore throat probably I've ever had. And my mom ordered hot tea for me to drink, and they sent it up with lime and honey. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. And now I drink it all the time. It's amazing. Normally, I drink it at night, but I did have one this morning because why not? And I put like a little bit of local honey to sweeten it. Oh, it's so good. Definitely recommend herbal teas if you have not tried them. I know they can definitely be an acquired taste for some people, but like a raspberry or something that's has a lot of fruit and is really sweet is always good to start with. But I've been drinking herbal tea since I was like 10 years old. I have like a fancy teacup and like all the things. But I just love it. It's one of my favorite drinks. And then High Tide. This is another segment we do every week. And this is a self-help recommendation. It could be a book, podcast, creator, TED Talk, habit, whatever it may be. And this week, it's kind of a habit, kind of not. But it's positive friendships. I think that especially as a teenager, like, it's really, really easy to just make friends with whoever you are around, maybe in your classes or whatever sport you play or, whatever it may be. And I think it's really great to push yourself to find sources of friends that are more like-minded to you and your goals and your passions. I think, especially when we're young, we're taught a lot in school about online people and, people catfishing and pretending to be who they're not and all of these things. And I think for a while that deterred me from making online friends. But once I became an older teenager and knew that, like, I could trust myself to recognize those things, I have made some of my closest friends through online friendships, and they are some of the most supportive people I've ever met in my entire life, and I'm so grateful for them. And just being intentional with the people you're spending your time with and, making sure that they are having a positive impact on you and making you a better version of yourself. And if you are friends with someone who's not doing that, I don't think you need to cut them off completely. I think that can be really harsh and be a very negative experience, but just kind of slowly distancing yourself, I think, it's not a bad thing to do. It's not an evil thing. You're not doing anything wrong by choosing and being intentional with the people you spend time with and the people you want to be around. And, the people that you do spend time with are going to greatly affect your mindset and your perspective. And so just being intentional and having focus on that, I think, is really, really important. And something that I've really enjoyed being more intentional with and recognizing, these are the people that make me feel good. These aren't, things like that. Let's get into the episode. It should be a quick one today, but we're going to start out with the first habit, and that is making my phone and like my online spaces a positive space to be. And this kind of goes with what I was just talking about, online friends. But I talk about this a lot, and I feel like we all need a reminder, and I don't think enough people understand that your online spaces, whether it's your phone's home screen, or your social media, or your YouTube feed, or the TV shows you watch on Netflix, or your Google Chrome browser, you have so much control over what these things look like and what is on them. And people, I don't think, realize that, and they don't take advantage of that. Some things that I do to make my phone, my laptop, my social media a better space is, number one, my phone is super organized and clean, and all of my folders are named affirmations. So like all of my school stuff is in a folder that says I am educated. All of my money stuff says I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am joyful, things like that. And then my screensaver is on my Google Chrome, which is one that I see like 24/7, is my vision board that I update at least every 6 months. On my social media, I'm very specific about who I follow, and I make sure that the people I'm following and the people that are on my feed are making me feel positive. They're educating me, they're inspiring me, they're motivating me in some way. And they are making my time spent online feel more productive and make it feel less like I'm wasting time, because we all get caught scrolling. We all do it. And so if you can make your scrolling time at least feel more positive and like at least you're learning something, or at least you're getting inspired or motivated, it can really change the game and make social media less of an enemy and more of a tool, which is what it should be. All of our online devices, programs, softwares should be tools. They should be used as tools and not as vices or getting in the way of being our best selves. Habit number 2 is pretty self-explanatory, but keeping my space clean. In elementary school, I was a hoarder kid. Like, my room was always a disaster. I mean, it was seriously so bad. And as I got older, I've gotten a lot more organized, and making sure that my space is clean at the end of every day and being able to wake up to a clean room is so important. I try to have like 5 minutes at the end of every night before I get into bed, before I start reading, to clean up my room. And when I'm done working for the day, I try to clean up my desk so it's ready in the morning. And this just, I mean, everybody knows clean space, or clear space, clear mind, right? So just taking the time to do that, because the reality is that is a form of self-care. I think a lot of people get caught in this, like, self-care is, bubble baths and nails and, these kinds of things, which, don't get me wrong, those things are great. But real self-care that is really going to have an impact is getting yourself and having the discipline to do the things to take care of yourself that you don't want to do. Taking your vitamins, drinking enough water, cleaning your space, those kinds of things. Habit number 3 is keeping an actual physical notebook with me almost all the time. So I have this small, it probably has 50 pages in it, maybe, and it's just like a small, Dollar Tree kind of journal that I keep on my desk, and I keep it out, and it lets me write down thoughts, ideas, to-do lists, all of those kinds of things, and I have it on me as often as possible. This way, sometimes if I have an idea and I go to write it in my phone, in my notes app, I'll get distracted by something else in my phone. Or sometimes just writing it on my Notion can be too overwhelming, so just having a physical space to pick up the pen, write it down really quick, and then I can move on and go back to what I was focusing on really helps me keep track of all of my thoughts and ideas and to-dos without getting caught in other unproductive things. Like if I'm doing a task and then I remember, oh, I need to do this, I can just write it in the notebook and then go straight back to what I was doing. I'm not opening my phone and then getting distracted and all of those kinds of things. I think for a long time I was very against having a physical notebook. I wanted everything digital, but I realized that it's too distracting without the physical notebook. Habit number 4 is a mindset shift, and it's not taking things too seriously. I think Gen Z has gotten really, really good at this, and I'm loving it, but I think that so many people take themselves so seriously, and they feel, and I wish there was a better way that I could describe this, but like, for me, it was the smallest things are going to destroy my life and ruin everything. And realizing that it really doesn't matter. Like, if it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it, right? So, just taking things less seriously, taking myself, taking people less seriously, laughing more, and just finding that enjoyment of, not everything is life-changing. It's just life. Like, it's just there. And it doesn't have to be, every decision you make doesn't have to be fully thought out. It's better to just make the decision, and you can change it later. And you don't have to seriously consider every aspect of a decision. Things like that, I think, have really made me such a happier, more joyful person, and I'm not stressed and anxious as often. Habit number 5, reading. I've always been a reader to some degree, but really making sure that I'm reading every single day, even if it's just 1 page, has really, really helped me feel more productive at the end of my day when I read before bed, and it has helped me stay more consistent with reading because I had always been, as a younger reader, I would read like 6 books in a month, and then I wouldn't read for the rest of the year. And so making sure that I choose a book every month and just trying to get through that full book by the end of the month, taking it slow, and, letting myself, maybe one night it's 1 page, another night it's 30, just lets me continue to grow and learn and expand my vocabulary and all of these good things that reading brings, and keep it consistent. Number 6 is making my bed. I know that everybody talks about online, I see so many people posting like, oh, like millionaires, they always make their bed, yada, yada, yada. For me, I think it's really about, number 1, it makes your space feel so much cleaner when you make your bed. And number 2, the discipline of getting up and immediately turning around and making your bed, because number 1, you can't get back in the bed once it's made. And number 2, like for me, habits like these where it's something so small, so simple, really the task itself is very easy. It's just having the discipline to actually get it done. When I do these things later in the day, I'm, thinking about the things that I need to do, and I'm like, I've made my bed every single day all year, like I can do this. Those kinds of little confidence boosters, it's very empowering to know that like I get things done, and I'm getting something done right when I wake up. Number 7 is another morning one, and is waking up before the sun. I definitely don't do this every day, but the days that I do, I feel so much more productive, and I have recently realized that, at least for my area where I live in the US, if I wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, no matter what time of year it is, I will be up before the sun. So my goal is to start consistently waking up at 6 a.m. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. Like some people will, these like motivational business creators will say like, oh, I wake up at 3:30 a.m. every morning, blah, blah, blah. I work for, 6 hours before I eat breakfast, and like all of these things. And that's not necessary. You just need to find a time that works for you. And waking up before the sun gives me enough time to do my morning routine and then get a little bit of extra work done in the morning. And it makes me feel that much better. Also, when you wake up before the sun, if you sleep with your windows open like I do, like the blinds open, the sun won't be up to shine in your face and make you just roll over and go back to bed, because that's something I always used to do, was if the sun was up and shining in my eyes, I just roll over and go back to sleep because it's too much work to open my eyes and, fight through the sunlight. So waking up when it's still dark helps me get out of bed quicker and not go back to sleep. And our last habit for today is intentionally being open-minded and not attached to opinions or ideas. This is one that I've noticed so much recently, has made such a huge impact on me, is just not being so attached to my opinions and my ideas and the things that I believe to be true. So what I mean by this is maybe you maybe you feel a certain way about music. Maybe you are you really love pop music. That's pretty much all you listen to, like Taylor, Sabrina, Olivia. Like, that's what you listen to. Like, that's your music. You don't really listen to a lot of other things. And so somebody turns something else on and you're like, really, this is what we're going to listen to? But leaving yourself open to hearing the song, listening to the lyrics, and giving it a chance, and just finding something about that thing that you do enjoy and you can enjoy, I think can be so incredibly life-changing and it's made me a much more joyful person. I have recently gotten into listening to tons of different types of music. I have playlists I'm getting through like all the genres. I've got, pop, I've got French music, I have late 50s, early 60s, which I love. I have house music, like so many different genres, and I'm building these playlists. I'm learning songs from all these different cultures and styles that I like and enjoy, and just leaving myself open to those things. Because when you close yourself off, it can make you, one, very defensive. Like, if somebody's like, what do you mean you don't like, country music or whatever it is? Music is just a good example. You might get defensive over your opinions, but just letting that go and being open to, like, right now, I feel like I love, like, so many things, and I'm so much more open to trying new things and experiencing new things, and I enjoy more because I am open to enjoying more. I'm not as closed off with the things that I like and don't like. I was never really super into sports, and then I got into motorsport and F1, and that has opened the door for me to realize, hey, maybe there are other sports that I just haven't given a chance, and I need to show an interest in and learn about. And I've taken a golf lesson, and I'm planning on doing tennis soon, and like, I'm learning all these different new things that I would have never given myself a chance to experience without being open-minded about them and wanting to learn more about the ways that other people live and they experience things. So just leaving yourself more open to new things and not getting defensive over, your opinions and things, because yes, like, sure, everyone can have their own opinion, whatever. But why would you want to have a negative opinion about something that isn't necessarily negative, right? Like, there is nothing wrong with pop music. Like, you don't have to like it, but you don't have to add a negative connotation with it either. So just, leaving yourself more open to enjoying more things, because the more you enjoy, like, the more joyful you're going to be. And those are the 8 habits that have changed my life and you can use to elevate your routine. For this week's homework, we always do homework so that you have an actionable step that you can add into your life and implement what we discussed. And today that is to choose one habit that I listed, or maybe another one that you thought of while I was talking, and do it for 1 week. That's it. All I want you to do is just try doing it every day for 1 week. Pick something easy, difficult, doesn't matter. Do it for 1 week. Once you do it for a week, just do it for one more day. And one more day. And one more day. And see how long you can get. And if you get a really good streak, you can DM me on the podcast Instagram or my personal Instagram at moannaadams or wavemaker.media. And I would love to know what habit you're implementing and, how has it affected you? Do you feel like it's life-changing or not? Because I definitely think there are so many habits that we talk about are life-changing. Online we say, oh, this life-changing habit, this changed my life, that changed my life, whatever it is. I want to know, do you think this habit really is life-changing for you? Thank you so much for listening. If you love this podcast and you want to show your support, please leave a rate and review. Reviews are so important for the growth of the podcast. And so if you have an iPhone, open the Apple Podcast app, scroll to the bottom of this show, and there should be a box that says write a review. It takes 5 minutes, and it really helps the podcast grow, and I really appreciate it. And I love reading all of your reviews. They mean the world to me. Of course, follow me on social media at moannaadams or the podcast, which the username has recently been updated to wavemaker.media. So be sure to follow both of those accounts. You can also follow this show so you never miss another episode. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will talk to you later.